Hey everybody, how are you? 3 o'clock, 3:01. I'm actually starting to get some sort of um, multimedia thing going. I've got a little countdown timer and everything. It's very exciting. Hope everyone's doing well. Say hi in the chat window if you are. I'm just end of Friday. I'm getting that as promised weekly Farkle Friday. Didn't really have a lot of time to think about anything to talk about, which is fine because I have my get out of jail free card, which is transcription. And today I'm going to continue to transcribe the Ron Jones cue Destroy the Sphere, which is turning into a surprisingly good cue to kind of learn to get a handle on. And I want to finish this because the next set of cues I have to start working on or want to start working on are a bunch of JRPG and anime cues for for my album. So, which is going in conjunction with a new video game IP that I'm working with friends in a studio on. So that's kind of exciting. Hey, Kat, how are you? It's good to see you. Long time no see. I feel so bad. Kat is in a country where right now they are putting a dry spell on alcohol because people are drinking too much and ending up in the hospital. And when they end up in the hospital, they take away beds that could be used for COVID patients. So right now, not only is she in lockdown, but she has a limited supply of booze, which is really unfortunate. And we're trying to figure out a way to smuggle booze. Ever the US guy, I'm always like, how can we smuggle booze to you? Like, how can we? So that's become a little spring project. Hey, Glenn, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Yeah, we're gonna dive right in, I think. Give me a sec here. I'm gonna just do one little thing here. I'm gonna start right now. I know, I'm so sorry, my dear. It really drives me. And again, it's not that we're all like twitchy, like we need to have it to, survive. It's like, it's a nice adult's treat, and drinking responsibly is something that is a-okay. So we should be able to do that. And government should not stop our right to drink. All right, so let's jump in into here. Let's go to the main screen and see what I got going on here. Got all sorts of stuff. Got all right, give me one sec here. Yeah, we're in good shape there. And I'm just gonna jump right in because I gotta get this thing going. And most of you, if you went to my webinar that ThinkSpace did, I just talked about this a little bit. So I just want to finish this up because it's a really good cue. So let's take a listen here for this. And go in here. Give me a sec. All right, so this is obviously a battle cue. Lovely little bit right there. Okay, so that's where we're at, right there where the French horns started to do their thing. So let's jump right in and get some more of this going. We'll make it nice and easy. I'm pretty sure that this piano synth bass is continuing. So let me just listen. Let's count this. I gotta count these stupid ostinatos. It's like counting. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thing goes on forever. Hey, Laurie, how are you? Laurie, this is from Star Trek: The Next Generation. So this is Ron Jones. The main composers for this series were you don't have to retract the message. It's all right, man. I'm gonna put the user in timeout. That's awesome. Yeah, this is from Star Trek: The Next Generation, and it is the three. Such a butt. This is from Picard. Ron Jones, Dennis McCarthy, and Jay Chataway are the big composers. And Jesus, thing is, so I'm kind of hacking it a little bit here because I really don't want to sit here and micromanage what that ostinato is. It's something like this, you know. Jesus, this thing is going forever. Ron, man, you're like really hanging out of this E ostinato, aren't you? All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's just take a listen. Let's jump in. Hey. There we go. By the way, this is so oh, thanks, Laura. You're the best. This is so impressive. When you actually write good music with Note Performer and you actually notate it correctly, it actually can hold up for like lower budget stuff. It's like, look, this actually sounds, you give this to like a TV show, they could probably like use it for a cartoon or something. It's pretty impressive, actually. So let's get this going. All right, here we go. Oh, darn it. I was supposed to do something and I forgot to do it. I'll do it the next time. Doug Gibson showed me a trick where you can actually import the audio into the video thing, and then I can actually transcribe along with it instead of having to go back and forth. I'll do it for the next one. I forgot. I researched it yesterday, but then I forgot to do it. So I'm an idiot. What can I say? All right, let's have some fun here with this. All right, we know this one. We know it's gonna be horns coming up next. All right, it's gonna be another E6, Laurie. Yeah, that's it. It's that easy. That's it. French horn. This is not hard. This is not doing John Williams. I'm not busting on Ron Jones. He's... Whoops. And we'll make that a G flat there. Okay. That's that right there. That's pretty easy. Nope, it's G flat. Just, you know, that's a real French horn as it is. So that's going to be the just being lazy and doing this. Oh, that's a little homage to the Jerry Goldsmith. That little major to minor, relative minor, and that's totally from Jerry. Is that what it is? So, man, he is like borrowing from both Jerry. Let me get this right here. And James Horner. That's pretty cool. So there it is. Man, he's getting a lot of value out of only a couple of things, the main thing and everything else. Listen to that, man. Here. Man, those three French horns just sound great, don't they? I mean, not my note for, but I'm just saying for like a. Dude. Let me check that window timing. So this is so he's doing this. He brings back this little nugget here. Whoops. But it's done on the second beat. So you can hear it, boom, da 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 da. I gotta remember to do this when I'm writing. I gotta remember to actually let the downbeat not be the downbeat, and let things pass off into the second beat. All right, here we go. This is kind of cool. Ron Jones is doing it as an upbeat. Now he's doing it as on the second beat. So like this. I'm a little off with the ostinato. There's one other instrument in there, but I'll deal with it later. That's pretty cool. That's right. Yep. That's pretty close. All right, let's see what we get going on here. Okay, he does it fast here. One, two. If I want to be technical, I would do this. Because that gives breathing points. right? Welcome to the world of transcription. Whoever thinks this is like really fun, it's not. Yeah, really. It's like, yay. My wife loves watching me do this. She's like, well, it's funny because on the one hand, I do it with earphones downstairs. I just do it on my laptop. And she's like, you're so quiet, so nice. Apparently that is a rarity in my household. But what's funny is that she'll just hear me like randomly curse and things like that. She's like, what? I'm like, this goddamn, is it trombones and French horns, or is it French horns and trumpets or whatever, you know? And she's like, oh my God. And I get all worked up over it. She's like, dude, it's not a big deal. It's not like heart surgery, you know? Man, look at how much you learn from doing this. Transcription is just it. Here we go. And we'll do this. Here we go. Okay. Let's see what we got here with this. Good, so you piece the whole thing. That's good. All right, we'll move it along here. So this one starts on the second. Yeah. That's not bad. This is it's actually very pleasant to transcribe. When the transcription is relatively straightforward like this, it's actually very pleasant. It's very calming. Kind of reminds me of how I fell in love with music in the first place. And it gives me ideas. So if I ever do like a sci-fi Star Trek thing, which I'm probably gonna do. Yep. That's gonna work. Oh, it's so much faster by paper. Jason Poss and I were talking about that this week. It's like it's so much easier on paper. You just do it once and you're done with it. All right. Let me see here. And then I have this da-da-da. That's definitely in there just as is, but it's on the 2. You can hear it. Such an elegant size ensemble. You can really do a lot with this. There's so much color, you know, and you don't need to do a lot of huge stacks. I did a thing with Richard Campbell today when one of the ThinkSpace masters, and I was like, you know, I was overwriting, I was over orchestrating, trying to make it bigger than it needs to be. One of the problems. Yes, 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 we're aware. Let's see. Just think if I was writing this instead of notating it, how impressive it would be if I got this much done in the first like half hour. It's like, you know, that's like 30 seconds of music. Well, this is how these guys like Ron Jones do it. Hey, Lorenzo, how are you? Good to see you, brother. You're just listening to me just pontificate as I transcribe. That doesn't look quite right, but whatever. I'm tired. Doesn't matter. That does sound pretty cool, dude. Like, you know, it's a good cue because I've listened to this probably like about 100 times, and I'm like, it still catches my attention. It's like the binary sunset. That cue never gets old. It's like it's just always good. It's, you know, just hold on a second, I'll try something. Give me a sec here. Oh wow. I've got all these new key commands to like make myself invisible. Gone. Back. It's very exciting. Let's see here. I don't know. Anybody wants to ask any questions, you can. This is not the most glorious thing, but it's kind of fun. Oh my god, I got 30 seconds left. Can I get through this? Let me just listen real fast. Lorenzo's doing fine, doing some transcriptions. Yeah, choral stuff from Bloodborne. Yeah, what a great score. It's the Sony team. I am going to be doing my transcriptions for my album, and the projects I'm working on are going to be. This was just for fun. This was because I haven't done Star Trek ever. I've always just kind of hacked through it, and I was like, I really want to get into like Ron Jones's style because I like his stuff. And I'm going to probably still transcribe some Star Trek, but I'm going to be doing Final Fantasy 12 and some of the stuff from Full Metal Alchemist. That's kind of where my ear wants to be right now. So I'll start posting that stuff. Final Fantasy 12 has got some really good stuff. Probably also some Final Fantasy 8 because I really like Nobuo Uematsu's melodic writing. Bloodborne's great. It's real gritty. So is Dark Souls. Sakuraba stuff is, oh boy. Studio Dog. Hi, Studio Dog. Everyone say hi to Studio Dog. Oh, what a buddy. He's gonna be mad because he wants this. He comes up because he wants me to pet him. He is such a look. See, oh, how close could I get to you? I picked up Full Metal Alchemist original soundtrack 1 and 2. So I believe that's a combination of music from both the series. I don't know. I'm watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood right now with Catherine, but I'm only like 2 episodes in. It's good. I like it. I'm trying to get into anime, and I picked up Vision of Escaflowne, which I've never seen, but I've heard very good things about. And I'm getting and I'm watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I think my daughter says My Hero Academia is pretty good. I don't know that one. I know kind of the classics, like the big ones that I watched were Cowboy Bebop, Record of Lodoss War, and Akira were the 3 big ones that I've seen, which were great. And Macross Plus, not the Robotech, but like the Macross Plus sequel, which was done by Yoko Kanno. So therefore it's good. Oh, and Ghost in the Shell. I've seen Ghost in the Shell, which was really good. But I have not seen the standalone complex. Oh, okay. Boku no Hero is My Hero Academia. Okay. Oh, good, Lorenzo. So, okay. So I should be listening to that. Yeah. Catherine said it was also a really good anime. And I don't know. I'm waffling back and forth. There's one foot of me that loves the 80s and 90s action adventure stuff, right? Hold on a second here. I got some weird thing that says the audio stream's current bit rate 0 is lower than the recommended bit rate. What does that mean? You guys are all hearing me okay, right? It's weird. Let me check something real fast. Yeah. There's two different composers for this, I think, right? Let me check something really fast in my settings. I want to see what my stream is for my audio. Audio stream output audio bitrate 160. It's fine. I don't know. It must have been something like whatever. It must have been something happening on the YouTube side. By the way, how's my audio for my voice? Is it okay? I like I said, I did a vocal chain here so that I could have the mic further away, and I think it's much better. I just want to make sure it's better for everybody. Yeah, we like it. Everyone can hear okay. Oops. There we go. That should be a little bit better. I'm trying to not be eating the microphone like I used to, but of course that meant that I had to put like an LA2A compressor on this, and like, you know, I'm highly compressed right now, which is fine. So it's for a young audience, but it has some motifs, which is really rare to see in anime. Usually they're just composed to fit the atmosphere. Yeah, here's what I like about anime, and we're gonna get into some anime when I start transcribing this stuff. They probably compose more atmospherically, but they still are composing very linearly and very orchestrally. It's not just synth pads, not all of them. Some of them are, but a lot of them are these kind of similar to this stuff where it's like atmospheric, but they're definitely trying to create linear gestures and stuff. You know, I'm trying to move away from just keyboard. I call it keyboard warrior playing, where you just like play chords in Symphobia. Right, Laurie? Symphobia. I'll show you. I have to do a Farkle Friday on how to make Symphobia not suck, because I got some pretty good results out of it. But you have to play with it a little bit. All right. What a lovely little riff that is. And then there's no, just this, only that. You can't hear my dog losing her shit. She's been indoors all day. I usually take her out, but man, I've been hit with stuff. I'm like trying to. It's fun seeing Little Mike on delay in the browser window. Yeah, it's kind of fun actually. Like, oh. All right. All right, got that. And now the French horns are going back and doing their thing. I'll do this too. This is the annoying thing. It's like everybody knows what it is, but you still have to like do it. We all know it's this, but I have to go and I have to change everything. Do this. Do this. It's interesting. I always tell my students to like not do as many long notes, but it works here because there's this pulsing ostinato underneath. It's this actually rhythmic pedal point is what it really is. And there we go. Hardest part of this is actually just doing beautiful. All right, now let's get moving on with this. We actually covered a lot of ground. Let me see where I started. Like, to be fair, it's like started here, bar 25. And we're already at bar 35. 10 bars already in just half an hour. See, the more you do it, the faster you get. I'll take 10 bars in half an hour. I might be able to finish this in an hour, which is good because I have to finish an EDM piece for a client that I'm not happy about. It's just like, I'm like, oh. At least I got a minor ninth chord in there. I'm being pretty happy. All right, let's see what we got here. I bet you it's a C to a G flat. He's doing nothing. All right, here we go. Let's see what's happening. This is at about 1 minute and 2 seconds in the cue. Oh, that's all it is. It's just C and F sharp. Yeah, Lorenzo, I did a Hisashi transcription, and I did a Farkle Friday last year on Hisashi, and it got pulled within like 20 minutes. It was like, boom! Yeah, man, like Studio Ghibli is like ruthless with their stuff, man. They absolutely just locked it down. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, was what it was. I felt kind of bad, but yeah, it's a shame because I really want to do Hisashi, but I figured I'll get some. Look, I'm getting for some anime. I'm gonna get some. So you know what? After this week, I'll after I finish this queue, which will be today, I'll start over with the anime and stuff and the video game stuff because that's what I want to do for my first album. Anyways, this is fun just because there's two albums that I want to do. One is going to be an imaginary Star Trek album, which is why I'm doing this. But that's not the first one. The first one is an imaginary fantasy album that is kind of JRPG influenced. That's actually influenced by an IP that my team and I are developing. That's going to be, God willing, it's going to be on Steam, which is going to be great. Of course, we got to do the whole indie Steam thing, which is not great. So it is what it is. But yeah, like I've started working on some sketches for it, and I'll start showing some more stuff, especially once we get the lead artist is churning out some concept art. So we're going to start putting that stuff up, and I don't know, it'll be fun. It'll be cool. It's a really, really cool idea. The game designer's working on a really interesting magic system, which is yeah. Remember to hit the bell. Friendly reminder since I missed previous streams. Oh, what does hit the bell mean? You mean like, oh, there's an alert that says I like the stream or the stream's happening? Yeah, I'm gonna have to start announcing these streams. I'll announce it like 3 days beforehand. I'm now finally learning how to like treat YouTube like an actual, not marketing, but like hey, I'm social, like a social thing. I'm here, I'm online, come hang out, that kind of thing. Speaking of hanging out, I hope everybody's enjoying their beverage. I have had my first bourbon. I'm now gonna have my second bourbon. Oh man, I drank that in 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I think the bell is underneath my stream. It's like there's a like, unlike, and a bell. Yeah, thanks, Lorenzo. Yeah, please do the bell. I'm just here to have fun and just kind of share what Farkle was thinking, which is always a fun little romp through my brain. Here, while I fill this out, let's take a listen and see where we're at so far, just for a fun little palate cleanser. Yeah, and Lorenzo, I'm becoming really good now. My 2021 thing is every Friday. It's going to be either 2 p.m. Farkle time or 3 p.m. And I'm going to do an announcement like 2 days beforehand so people know and that kind of stuff. So VGO score. No, Matthew, I've not seen VGO Scores channel. Thank you for saying that. It's a YouTube channel or it's a. I know 8-Bit Theory. There, he's very good. He's very good. Full orchestral transcriptions you can download. That's cool. Although I like doing my own transcriptions. I learn more that way. I learned so much by doing this transcription. I love that lick. That is a great lick. Yeah, Lorenzo, you're right. A lot of them are inaccurate voicings. I'm actually pretty damn close with my voicings. Certainly close enough that I could take these lessons and write my own cue. Okay, we're in a good spot there. One, two, three, four. Oh man, we're about to get into a. It's about to get chunky. I think the synth bass got dropped there. Hold on a second. Let me do this. We're about to get to the big ending. This is gonna be like, you know what this is gonna be in the episode. This is gonna be where it's like the timer's going down. 3, 2, 1. Da 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 da. It's like Martha, Bringer of War. Yeah, notice how the timpani's been waiting. Yeah. Matthew, I think your ear is spot on because James Horner's Star Trek uses tritones, and he's using these tritones all over the place, right? But he's still using the Goldsmith theme. Really cool. Yeah, I think this is what I love about this, which is like he is appropriating the ideas from both these iconic movie scores. He's basically appropriating Star Trek 1, 2, and 3. And 2 and 3 are Horner, and 1 is Goldsmith. Because I don't think Goldsmith did these tritones like Horner did. Goldsmith did these. He did this kind of like Dorian thing where it went from like 1 to 5 minor to 1. It's actually Mixolydian, excuse me. But it feels really good. Totally works. Although he's got some Jerry because he's playing an E root against this C to F sharp. And Jerry does polytonal chords that are a major third apart because he does it in Total Recall where he's got like an E in one hand and a C in the other. So that's like a major third apart as opposed to a tritone. So it's a little bit, it's like both. It's kind of like he's doing both, which is pretty impressive. Let's get this going here. You know, one of the reasons I started transcribing this, and I've got a list, I've got a little box account where I've got my film transcriptions, and I just started writing the TV shows I wanted to work on, is I was always really impressed with how crystal clear these TV composers could write their scores. and they weren't relying upon walls of instruments. They were really being smart with what they wanted the listener to hear, and all that stuff. And the two scores that were particularly stuck out with me, well, there's a bunch of them. Star Trek: The Next Generation, I just loved. I love Ron Jones. The guy Joseph LaDuca, who did Hercules and Xena, he did a great job, and he was able to get an Indiana Jones style action adventure score with a TV sized orchestra. It was really impressive. So that's on my list of things to transcribe, because I kind of like I don't know if I'm ever going to be close to John Williams, and I probably should reduce his stuff. I know Brad does over at Film Score Analysis, but I also am like, what can get me writing stuff quickly and effectively? I do like these TV scores because they are very direct and they're very loaded with emotion. I mean, this is a great emotion for this, and it's fast. Like, I think I could write this stuff fast. Um, the other film TV composer that I love that I follow is Bear McCreary, who's amazing. But I picked up his score for like The Human Target was floating around, and I got it from somebody. And I looked it up, and I was like, it looks almost as big as the Back to the Future score. Like, Bear is like, he was trained by Elmer Bernstein, and I think Bear is like, he's comfortable with like a film size. Because you listen to The Human Target, and I was like, that's a really big sound. And I look at the score, and I'm like, this is like 6 French horns, um, 3 trombones and a bass trombone. I'm like, dude, that's Back to the Future. That's like a big, what TV orchestra gets that? This score is 3 flutes, 1 on piccolo, 1 oboe, 1 clarinet, maybe 2 clarinets, 3 horns in F, maybe 2 trombones, no tuba, timpani, assorted percussion, but not that many, piano, synth, couple of synthesizers, and the strings are probably like 6 violins, probably 12 violins, which is 6 and 6, probably like 8 violas and 6 cellos, and no double bass. Like, it's really, really small. Lorenzo, John Williams is Brad's turn. Yeah, if you go to Film Score Analysis, he has reduced about 50 John Williams scores really in depth. He knows it so well now that like he can speed compose Williams style, which is really cool. He'll be like, oh yeah, if I were to do Williams like Minority Report, it would do this. And he would just bang out like 12 bars in 20 minutes. And it was like, oh yeah, that sounds like John Williams, Hey, Mike Galloway, how are you, sir? Matthew, don't forget Shirley Walker and the rest of the DCA YouTube. How could I forget? Her scores to Space Above and Beyond is the other one I'm looking at for this. And then, of course, Batman and Superman. Did you hear the story about Superman? This is actually a lot of fun. Apparently, Shirley Walker is a phenomenal composer. And apparently, she was in a time period where there was still, and I guess there still is. I don't know. I don't live in Hollywood. I don't know. But there was apparently a lot of, misogyny and like sexual, gender discrimination, right? Like discrimination against her because she's a woman. I'll answer that question in a sec, Lorenzo. So she got the gig for Superman, and oh, Mike, thanks for making it, man. I'm glad you love it. I've been really good about. I'm gonna be doing this every week. So she went into the Superman meetings with the animation team, and she was like, okay, and they kept on saying, we don't want this. We don't want it to sound like the John Williams score. We need something different. We need something edgy. And so she would be like, all right. So she'd go in and like, write something. And then they'd come back. Oh, we don't want it. We don't want it. We don't like it. Let me see if I can find the music. See if I can find Shirley Walker. So she would come back with a rewrite, and they'd say, no, we don't want it. This is not what we want. We and she'd always be giving them what they said they wanted. And it was never, they never liked it. Let me find this. This is so funny. So she finally walked in, and she said, let me look here. Sorry, you just I have Superman the Animated Series. I gotta find this because the story is pretty funny. Let me go to music. I know I have Superman the Animated Series. It might not be under Shirley Walker because it was, yeah, Superman the Animated Series. Here we go. Okay. So she said, she did this whole thing where she said, you guys really don't want all the things that you want. You don't want this edgy electronic thing. You don't want this thing. What you really want is just something over the top. But she literally said, what you want is Superman, Superman, Superman. And she literally said it like apparently that kind of like tongue in cheek. And they were like, yeah, that's what we want. There it is, Superman. Daga, she did do the Batman animated series. She has a small team. She passed away about 7 or 8 years ago. She did Superman, the animated series, Batman, the animated series, and she did Space Above and Beyond. And she was also one of Danny's orchestrators, and I believe she was the conductor for Batman. And there was a lot of talk behind the scenes that she was very instrumental in part of Danny's orchestral sound. Her and Steve Bartek were really big on like how they got that big gothic brass sound. Mike is scoring a horror movie at the moment and checked out my tension video. It helped a lot. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it helped. I hope you have fun with it. Matthew is Bears blog says Human Target had a 65 piece and 90 for the finale. Yeah. And if you look at the main theme, yeah, I mean, 65 piece is big. That's yeah, that theme is great, Lorenzo. And the repetition, right? The motivic repetition. I think I talked about this in a Farkle Friday about, dude, just take that motive and just keep on using it. Like, it's just good. 90s animated TV was very good. 90s TV was good. Bears blog says Human Target a 65 piece. So let's think about that. 6 French horns, 3 trumpets, 3 trombones and a tuba. So that's 13 right there. Winds in 2. That's 8. Let's see, up to 20, 22. Then you're going to have 14, 12, 10, 8. Yeah, that's like a normal, that's almost like a John Williams size. It's not quite as big, but it's getting darn close to a John Williams size orchestra, right? It's pretty big, man. So, hey, so Lorenzo asked, how do you hear the quantity of the instruments? How do you distinguish 3 French horns from 6 French horns if they're doubling each other? There is a lightness to French horns. Well, first of all, there is a lightness to French horns, and French horns are the hardest ones to suss out because it's very rare that trombones double each other. They're either playing a stack like a triad or they're playing in unison, and you can totally hear that difference. Whether it's 2 or 3 trombones, everyone always says at least have 3 on an instrument because of the phasing. So French horns, that's the hardest one to figure out, like 3 versus 6. You kind of have to reverse engineer horns from like, well, if I've got 3 trombones and 3 trumpets, I probably have 4 or 6 French horns. I don't have 8 because the rule is 2 French horns to 1 brass. So it's like, okay, 6 French horns would allow me to do a triad and put 2 French horns on a triad. But then it also depends upon what you're writing. John Williams writes 4-part brass chords all the time because of his jazz background. Well, he just puts 4 French horns. He's got, a C, got a C major 7th chord there, and he just does 1, 2, 3, 4 French horns on it. A lot of it's just starting to know orchestration. Like the idea of like seeing like, oh, you see the sample libraries, they're like, we sampled 3 flutes at the unison. I'm like, I have not seen that a lot. I see that in Strauss. Matthew, the sheet. Well, here's the other thing. The sheets say Bear had a contrabass clarinet. Yes, but it may have been a double. Because you know about doubling, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm the flute, but I double on piccolo and alto flute. So if a cue calls for me, and there's a reason. Jason had a great explanation for it. When you are booking for the season, the last thing you want to do is like every week try and find a different flute player. So what you do is you basically find your players and you're like, listen, you're going to be playing clarinet and you're going to be doubling on bass clarinet on occasion. Bring it every week, and then because what they want to do is the music contractor wants to have his list of his 60 musicians and basically say, hey, we're booking you on this week, this week, this week, and this week, for these 4 episodes, and just have him ready to go. So yeah, Bear has a lot of interesting instruments because he was trained by Elmer Bernstein, who's very creative. Now, how do I hear the quantity of instruments? Well, woodwinds, I almost always think that they are one to a line. So if I've got a flute line goes like ba da 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 da, I'm like, it's not 3 flutes, it's 1 flute. So if I hear triads in flutes, I'm like, well, that's 3 flutes. It has to be. It's not going to be 6. When I was transcribing earlier this thing and I could hear I had my earphones on, man, once you do this a lot, you start to hear the colors, especially for the woodwinds. And that's just coming with experience. I'm able to do this now because I've done this enough with stuff that's written that I'm like, I know when I'm wrong. And even then I'm probably like 90%. Strings are very hard to hear, whether it's 8, 12, or 16. And so I kind of default in my head to, if it's a TV ensemble, it's probably 6 or 8 strings on a line. And if it's a symphonic piece like a film score, it's 14 or 16. And then I don't worry about what that actual number is. It's like one of two. It's like 8 for TV. Like this, you can hear, it's probably like 6 or 8 violins on a part. You're like here, you hear a light. You can hear the strings, you can actually hear the vibrato really nicely. And I think the reason you can hear the vibrato is because there aren't that many strings. So that's kind of how I do it. So a lot of it's just knowing what your typical balance is for an orchestra. And you find that out by looking at some of the orchestras of the style that you like to write in. For me, I like looking at Tchaikovsky. He's got a good balance of orchestra. Obviously, John Williams, I think, is like one of the gold standards. Alan Silvestri is a good one to look at because he's the bigger Hollywood orchestra. John Powell is insane to look at because I didn't get How to Train Your Dragon. I didn't buy it, not because I don't love John Powell, because I have so much other stuff I have to work on. But he has like 12 French horns. I'm like, what? That you're going for an effect. You're just going for like, you are just blow somebody's nuts off, right? Yeah, Lorenzo, if they're playing unison, go for the lowest number. I also didn't know that about phasing. Yeah, in general, good performance can make it work. But I remember when I was writing for string quartets and stuff, they'd be like, don't have a solo violin and a second solo violin on the same part, either 1 or 3. Now, French horns are the one instrument that can get away with it. If you have 2 French horn, a 4-note French horn chord, you can put 1 French horn on each note, or you can put 2. Somehow the overtones work that with French horns, you can do 2 French horns on a part. So when you have 4 French horns, that gives you a lot of power and a lot of versatility, because you can do 4 French horns on a line. That's 4 French horns on a line. That's powerful. You can do 4-note French horn chords. Or you can do 2 French horns and 2 French horns doubled in octaves or in thirds. Whatever it's playing. So it's pretty versatile. The most brass, which are timpani and trumpets and trombones and trumpets, will almost always either be 1 to a chord tone. So you take 3 trombones, you make them a chord, or it's all of them on 1. So in, Star Wars, it's like, that's 4 trumpets on that note. All right. If they're not 4 trumpets on a note, usually they're solo, like 1 trumpet on each chord tone. But sometimes people write 2 trumpets. I know, I wish it was easier. I try to make it as simple as possible for myself. I either I'm playing a chord and the trumpets are 1 on a note, or they're playing in unison and all of them are on that note. And yeah, the really good orchestrators would be like, well, Mike, there's so many cases that you're forgetting about. I'm like, I know, but I'm not good enough and fast enough to do that on the fly. I need to be simple with my orchestration. I'm a really simple composer. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Sorry, I'm just riffing on this. Let's take a look here at this sphere thing. And I could be wrong about all this stuff. I mean, it works for me, but like, there's 1,000 ways to orchestrate stuff. I'm just trying to find a strategy so that when I'm looking at the score or the blank page and I'm writing, I'm not like, I've got a set of strategies and tools that let me keep moving. If that makes any sense, because I don't want to be stuck. Let me get to this here. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7. Here's good news. This lick is being repeated, but it's being doubled by other instruments. You can actually hear it. Let me double all this stuff. Here we go. Just ways to think about this. That's another reason I like TV composers, because TV composers have to be very quick and effective with their decisions, because time is, I think that's why at the end of the day, I can't believe I'm saying this, because I love film scores. But I think I like writing TV music better conceptually, because you have to be direct, fast, and very, and just what's the most effective thing. You don't have time to fart around with like, with ideas and like, I mean, I'm just getting the ostinato out, the pedal point. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm about to transcribe that drum pattern. Oh, whatever, it's gonna be just, that's just like, well, actually, let's get this going here. There we go. All right, let's. Now here's a cool thing, that all that's happening here is that there's he's just doubling with the strings and probably the woodwinds too. I gotta hear that, but this is not that difficult. This is how you build it's called an orchestral crescendo. I think he's doing this. Let me just double check. He does an alternate voicing. Laurie, Glenn talks about this in EIS, about when you end up with the same 3 notes, but you move them in different directions sectionally to create this cool like space. It's pretty cool. Yep. Let me make that. Let me see if that's correct. I think it's unison strings until it breaks into a chord. I think it's that. Now let's see if this was smart. Let's see if it's actually this too. I think that's too much. I don't think it's an octave. I don't think it is. Sometimes it is. know. Let's see. I feel like there might still be some chords in here. That sounds too thin, doesn't it? I bet you the chords are in there. Yeah. I think that's correct. Yep, that's it. All right, and by the way, let's not be an idiot here. You know what we'd be doing. Let me just do this. This is how it actually would happen. We do this, and we do this. This is when I actually switch over into like, oh right, this is the actual transcription. Do that. Oops. There. There we go. Now, is there woodwinds in here? Probably is. Yep, there is. So notice, by the way, look at how much doubling there is in a very obvious way. He literally is just lifting parts and putting them in their comfortable register, and it all works out. Am I too loud? My mezzo forte. That sounded pretty cool, actually. Oh, finally the snare drum shows up. Here we go again. Gotta do this thing again. Okay. Another nice way to do this for TV. Once you set up the notation for one family of instruments, you just copy and paste. It goes in just like the other one. Oh, nice. This one's ability is really worth it. And by the way, there are some advantages. I mean, look, we're here looking an hour in, and I was faffing around for a while, but man, I got like 20 bars transcribed. If I was writing as fast as I transcribed. Hey, Jake, I'm transcribing The Battle Destroy the Sphere from Star Trek The Next Generation. And I bet, let me see this. I'm gonna add this. This is just on a hunch that trombone is being added. Let me see if I can do that. Nope. I don't got trombones there yet. I think he's saving it. Notice how disciplined Ron Jones is. I don't know. I'm just kind of this. Let me take a listen. All right. We'll do this. We'll do it your way. Oops. Let's see here. All right. Let's take a listen and see. Just get a feel for it. Yeah, Jake, good call. Good call, Jake. I like that. Thank you. And then we'll. There we go. So much of my time is spent drawing slurs. That's what music is. Slurs. All right. The reason I'm doing this the way I am is because that dun 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 is coming in on the upbeat of the bar. So I gotta get that I gotta get the little breath pause. All right. Oh man. Come on, play. Dun dun. All right, so there's that dun 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 dun. It's this. It's oh boy. This might be where I draw the line tonight because it's like I'm like 2 bourbons in. How long have I been transcribing orchestral scores? Probably 10 years. And I still am not good. There are guys who blow me away. Doug Gibson over on Mike Verda's Red Band site is insane. Like, I'm good, but he's like he transcribed Mike's entire Batman simulation, this Batman the Ride. Mike did this like 5-minute orchestral suite that's just like stupendous, and he just transcribed it like in 3 days. It just is crazy. I don't know if he has any social life or not, but I don't know how do you start transcribing. I was dumb. Well, I started transcribing because I was in bands and I wanted to play like Led Zeppelin and like Aerosmith and Pink Floyd, and there's no music, so you just have to listen over and over and play along with it and be like, am I playing the right notes? Am I playing the and that really helped my ear. I just I wanted to play progressive rock stuff. This is a big jazz thing, takedowns. And then when I started doing this, I was both reducing and transcribing classical scores. I think that really helps. But the right classical scores, don't just do it because someone tells you. Pick scores you want to sound like. Like I transcribed Tchaikovsky, because I wanted to sound like Tchaikovsky because he's really good. And then you transcribe and then you check and you realize, oh, I forgot about the bassoons or whatever. And then once you do that for a while, you start doing this. And then what happens is you transcribe a cue and then you try to write something in your style and then you listen to it and you're like, it's not the same as what it was in the score. Or, like you like try and reproduce it. Like try and reproduce a battle, like a battle cue or something. And then you're like, it doesn't sound the same. And then you go back and you listen and you're like, there's something happening down in the lower brass. It's not. And then you look at where your lower brass in your own score is and you're like, well, I'm not having the tuba do anything. And they're like, oh, maybe the tuba. And then you add it. You're like, oh, that's getting pretty close. That kind of thing. And then you shoot for 90%, you shoot for 80%. Like here, these voices might not be exact, but this is what's basically going. And more importantly, can I use it as a composer if I needed to like do this build? This is I've now learned this great build. Say it once in the French horns, and then say it once in the French horns with it doubled an octave above in the strings and the winds, and you get this nice build. So it's like, all right, cool. File that away in your bag of tricks when you're under the gun. By the way, requests for next week if anybody wants one. Yeah, and you know what? You also have to be kind of like kind to yourself, where you're like, man, don't go for perfection, go for excellence. Like if I were to do a cue like this and it was in this close a shape to the original cue, I'd be like, this is good enough. And not because I'm settling for what I'm not settling, but I'm also being like, this is getting the point across and the craft is good. Move on. Don't spend, 18 hours on 2 bars of music when in the first 30 minutes you got it to where you needed to get to. I mean, jazz arranging to me helped out a lot too, because jazz arranging shows me registers and shows me where I shouldn't be putting notes. Like, you shouldn't put this note down there. It's too low. It's going to create mud. Oh, okay. I put an immense amounts of restrictions on myself when I write because I don't want freedom. I want rules. I have no more creativity. I just want to get stuff out. No, it's, there are ways to have your writing consistently sound clean and clear. That's what I want. I want rules that let my writing. Yeah, Lorenzo, you're not optimizing your time, Lorenzo. Dear Lord. All right, let me see here. God, I'm boozing it up hard tonight. This will be good. I think I have to correct one more assignment tonight. Whoever it is getting. First, I'm actually almost done with it. They actually already earned a great grade. They're in great shape. They're not on the stream. All right, let's see if I can try and get this polychord going. I don't know. My ear might be a little shot. Apparently, when you drink it, like ruins your ear, not permanently, but like in terms of your ear gets fatigued because you've been drinking. So I'm probably getting stupider as I do this, which is fine. Let me see here. By the way, this is so funny. It's just random. I click participants, and it doesn't say who. It doesn't say who's on here. Am I doing anime stuff? I could do anime stuff. I kind of like to do some transcriptions. I need to start getting the anime vocabulary back into my system so I can write. For next week, I have some Harry Gregson Williams from like Narnia. I love Harry Gregson Williams. I'm not a big fan of the Narnia score. I don't like it that much. You know what I love? Sinbad Voyage of the Seven Seas. That's a 6 score. I don't know, man. I just don't like those long, slow, like, I don't know. I'll listen and see. I'm gonna sound like a jerk here. I'm sorry, Wayne, because I'm not trying to bust on your taste. I'm not digging. When I think of fantasy scores, the scores that come to mind for me that I love are The Dark Crystal, Willow, I guess E.T., although it's more action adventure, and Legend. I like Marco Beltrami. I love Marco Beltrami's score to Scream, and Snowpiercer was really good. I just don't like Lord of the Rings and Narnia that much. Lord of the Rings has some of the best leitmotifs. Man, that ring theme. Oh, what is it? Right? That's so beautiful, man. Mike, are you talking about Marco Beltrami's The Omen? Oh, baby, the score is right back behind me, man. I bought that thing the day it came out. That's the other reason, too. The other thing is, Wayne, is this. It's not that Narnia is not good. It's good. Harry's great. All right, I got all sorts of problems here we got to do with this. Harry is great. And I love his store for Chicken Run, this and the other. I find Narnia to be kind of a throwback for Lord of the Rings, and there's a lot of those footballs and a lot of these long, slow chords. I oh yeah, man, the Skeksis feast is crazy. Well, a couple of things. So the Harry Gregson Williams, the long slow chords, I just like things that are a little bit more energetic and busy, and a little bit more traditional 80s and 90s orchestration. And it's not that I'm busting on anybody's taste. I'm like, yeah, it's my channel. What I want to work on. Well, that's the other thing. Is the big announcement I had about working on my album was also like, I want to transcribe the stuff that interests me. I want to like look at the stuff that interests me. So the Omen by Marco Beltrami, Mike, is great. But what you really want to listen to is the original Omen by Jerry Goldsmith. That one is sick. It's so good. So Mike, don't get me wrong, Beltrami did great, but I guarantee you he was listening to Jerry Goldsmith when he did that. Anybody who redid the Omen, I guarantee you, go listen to Jerry Goldsmith's one from 1976. It was the only Academy Award he ever won. And he got it for Ave Satani, which is a sick, like, Black Mass song. Yeah, Golden Compass is good. This plot is good too. Yeah. So Lorenzo, apparently there's a guy, you know how there's Omni Music Publishing, and I have a bunch of those scores, like Back to the Future and Total Recall and Willow's in there. There's a guy in Britain who's able to start doing this too, and he did Aliens already, which I already bought, which is coming in the next month. But there are rumors he's doing the Dark Crystal in terms of the full score, and I'm freaking getting that if that's coming out. And like then I'm gonna transcribe some shit because that was that theme. Right? I mean, come on, that score. Dude, yeah. Dude, Dark Crystal is like sick. This is, by the way, this is a little bit. The reason I'm doing this year, and the reason I'm so excited about just like writing the stuff that I want to write, is I'm so tired of dealing with people, and they're mostly clients. I don't mean to. I love my clients; they're great, but a lot of them are very, very young. Chris Siddle, yeah, that's what it is, Wayne. I've got Aliens coming. I already bought that. That's coming whenever he gets the Corona's making everything take forever, which is fine. Look, it is what it is. And Chris Siddle's been very communicative. He pings every couple weeks. He's like, "Hey, here's where we're at." And I'm so tired of like there was one where right, you know what? We're gonna wind down here. You know what? We're doing Star Trek anyways. Let me show you. Let me show you something. That's what I'm talking about here. Let me do this. Yeah, Chris Siddle's really, really worth it. So, I had a guy approach me who was doing a sci-fi game, and he was like, "Hey, I want you to do some pitches." And I said, "All right," and he was like, "Well, I totally want the Mass Effect sound." He's like, "I want this like deep, gritty synth sound," and I was like, and it was an exploration spaceship game, right? So you had a spaceship and you were exploring and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, you don't want you don't like. I was like trying to do it with like the layers of synths that don't, and I was like, I hate this totally. And I said, I emailed the guy and I said, you know what? I'm going to just do what I think is good. And I even said to the guy, I said, I understand I may not get the gig, but I have to do what I believe in. And so I let me find this. So I went over to this lovely little thing. Let me get the renders here. Here we go. Let me just drag this over here. And I over here. So I did this cue. Everyone should be able to see it, right? Don't worry about this stuff. This is the EDM project I'm working on right now. So I wrote this, and this was totally in the style of so this is supposed to be like the stars. This is my yeah. Yeah, I know, Jake. I muted myself in OBS. Thank you. So that was the menu music that I wrote as a pitch. Yeah, it was all like, yeah, thank you. I like this cue a lot. I'm gonna save this. This is gonna go on like whatever album I end up doing. And it's supposed to be that establishing shot, right, where it's like Captain's log, Stargate. You know, the ship's flying. Like we were flying to the Epsilon sector, you know, kind of thing. So, just so you know, came from this. Didn't wrote it on paper, played it into the DAW. So really, this is not hard, you know, like, and this is, I learned this short staff. I love this it drives Brad nuts. He writes to 8 staves and I write to 4. And he's like, why are you writing to 4 staves? You can't see the whole orchestration. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like a TV kind of guy. Yeah, I don't know how it would fit. I mean, I definitely wrote it imagining this story, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Like, I keep on writing game cues. A lot of the cues are like vibes. It's like, hey, write this vibe, and I'm like, I kind of want to write a story where you actually can imagine the camera panning across and this, that, and the other. So, this is the one that I did that didn't get me the job, and I said, you know what? I want to. I'm tired of like fighting to kind of argue that I think this is the best music for this, if that makes any sense. And I was like, I know what good music is. I know what I want it to be. And I'd rather just write my own stuff and let the right people connect with me, you know? So that's kind of where it is. Oh, thank you, Lorenzo. Like a sport game. Yeah, it has a little bit of that kind of very gentle, idyllic, pastoral kind of feel. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like garden in space kind of thing. So it worked pretty well. Darn it, I don't think I got to finish the Destroy the Sphere. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna wind down with you guys for the 5 minutes or so and let you all go back. But here's what I'll do. I've got this last little like 10 seconds to finish, 15 seconds. I'll do that over the weekend and next week. All this stuff. Oh my God, there's a polychord in there. I know it. And then, you know, next week before I jump into the anime, I'll play this cue. Before we jump into the anime stuff. Jake is right. Directors need to learn some stuff about music. I know my sigh is the old directors really understood great classical music and how music could have a journey rather than an emotion. And it just, you know, it is the vampires cues, the director loved them because I was trying to tell stories. And I was totally listening to and watching his film. I wasn't just writing. I really wrote to the beats. Like I was really aware of the nuance. But I think he liked it because I wasn't just like laying down generic fight music. Like I was like trying to hit the beats and stuff. ES Musicalis, sometimes transcribed cube radiation is one of Steiner's cues from the original series. It's got some interesting orchestrational things going on. Yes, I'm going to, and I'll tell you why. Because the next webinar that I'm doing for the ThinkSpace is going to be the original series. So I have to transcribe 2 or 3 cues from the Alexander Courage, Fred Steiner era, which I love because those guys had an even smaller ensemble. They would have like a cello, a French horn, vibes, harp, 2 flutes, an oboe, and a piano, and like a timpani. It was like, dude, write a cue. And so they would have to just write these really interesting things. So I will look at cube radiation. Thank you for that recommendation because I do have to transcribe the original series. I just right now I'm in a Ron Jones thing, and I was like, I want to get this cue done and one other cue done. So what I'll do is here's what I'll do. I'll finish it off on my dead time, and then next week I'll come back and I'll play it for you so you can see everything. We'll spend 10 minutes on that because that'll be fun. And then I'll start on the anime stuff, which is going to start with the video game project. That'll lead me into the video game project that I'm working on, which is kind of scary because I'm like, that's kind of what I want to transcribe. I'm like, I don't even know how to begin. I think I have to write about an hour's worth of music for this, which is fine, but there's no film to do it to. So I kind of have to imagine an hour's worth of music. That's actually a lot. So Wayne, send a notice on VI and YouTube so we don't miss it. I will. I'm going to learn. There's a way for me to announce. It's like when I schedule something on YouTube, it kind of announces where it's like next Friday at 3 p.m. And then I'll send the notice, Wayne. Yes, I'm so sorry. My fault. I didn't do that, but I will definitely do that. I'm learning. I'm kind of converting. Before it was just, hey, I'm doing this because it's a lot of fun. Now I'm being a bit more targeted. I'm kind of like trying to be present on YouTube more consistently, and I actually have to do Facebook Live stuff. Apparently, I'm taking a class on Facebook marketing. I want to be on Facebook Live, but I get to make a splash screen, which is kind of cool. I have to go to Fiverr this weekend, and like, I have no idea what the splash screen is going to be because I don't know what my sound is yet because I've never written stuff for myself. It's always been, well, that's not true. I wrote that for myself. Yeah, Wayne, thank you for hitting the bell. This is fun. I actually, yeah, Lorenzo, I do. You know what? Brad over at Film Score was like, why are you not on Twitch? And I'm like, I know. I want to. I will. I don't know how to do that yet. I kind of need to, like, in a weird way, I'm really cautious and maybe scaredy cat about, I'm really cautious and scaredy cat about like growing my business in terms of, I'm always like, well, what if I do this and it, like, pisses somebody off or it's like a waste of time or whatever. So I'm like trying to like research how Twitch works. It's a whole new ecosystem for me that I don't understand. So, Mike Ellaway, switching moods quickly in a scene would be awesome. Yeah, Mike. Well, you know what? If we do the original series from Star Trek, they were masters of that because they had to like get somewhere real fast. There's a lot of tricks that you can do for that. Oh, Lorenzo, my format fits Twitch, where it's just kind of like a person hanging out doing what he loves, and people just kind of chip in and kind of come in and hang out. All right. Well, I think there's a software that I can get that allows me to like stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And I am in video games. Oh, thank you, Jake. That's the most feature rich. Yeah. And I'm using OBS, which is really good about getting all my audio into Twitch, Oh, well, thank you, Jake. And thank you, Lorenzo. My format does fit. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's fun. And I am doing video games, music. Like at the end of the day, it's, music without the video game kind of thing. So I think that definitely would fit. That's the funny thing is I don't know if you guys and girls have ever had this happen. I'm discovering this and I'm rediscovering this. The music that I love to listen to and that inspires me is not the music that I write, and that's okay. Like I listen to John Williams all the time, and I'm always like, oh, I want to write like John Williams. All that stuff. But then when I write stuff, it sounds more like it sounds more like Nobuo Uematsu. And I'm always like so torn because I'm always like, I want to write like John Williams. And I'm finally coming to that grip of like, I love listening to John and John inspires me, but maybe when I write stuff, it ends up being more of this kind of stuff, this kind of like new age piano thing that I'm always doing, you know? So I don't know. I just I had to get used to the idea of being like, maybe I just don't. I can be inspired by these people, but I won't write like them. And it's not a failing on my part, or I mean, they're all better than me. But so Jake said Twitch used to not care about copyright, but they got a big lawsuit and cracked down. If you don't enable clips, then the copyrighted portions get muted. Yeah, which YouTube does too. I actually had to do that with a couple of cues that were owned by Universal and they hadn't released them yet. And so there's this moment where it's like, oh, it was Rachmaninoff piece. It was during one of my transcriptions, and I'm like, all right, everyone, let's listen to this piece. And it was like, silence. And I was like, oh god. So I had to write a little thing that said like, you know, this was for educational purposes only, and then they opened it back up again. But yeah, maybe that'll be kind of cool thing to do. By the way, if anyone has not bought Keyscape yet and you're a piano player, it's fantastic. It's just like, I mean, everything about it. Chillbot over at VI Control can't stand it. I don't know why. He's like, why do you like this piano? I'm like, why do you not? It sounds amazing. It's like so much fun to play. And then you just get rid of the pedal noise and the release noise because nobody wants that crap in there. TikTok. Oh, see Lorenzo. Oh my god, I don't know. I don't have piano tech. I just love it. It's like I did Silent Night on this. I start recording it for next year's album. So beautiful. I forgot that. I forgot what yeah, man, I loved it. I love it. It's not just the piano is great. The piano sounds great. First of all, I mean, this piano, it sounds so good. Listen to this. You slap on some little bit of reverb in the it's great. And then it's got all these, I'm old enough to love these vintage digital keyboards. Like this is the old, you know. It's really cool, man. I don't know. You gotta be my age. But my favorite is where's the one that I love? It's the this is like the see old no need to change. There's some great stuff in here. Yeah, they're all good. But what a great time to be a keyboardist or to be a musician, because there's so many tools that are just absolutely top notch, you know? Lawson, I think just use Alicia's keys and just use the Native Instruments complete stuff. They're really good. I still use Grandeur for my last film. I used that as the orchestral piano in there. I mean, Keyscape is like, I got it because it's fun to play, but also when Sarah and I are doing live shows, which we're not doing because of COVID, then we'll use these, you know? I mean, just it feels great. The only thing is, for some reason, the custom grand piano takes forever to load. I don't know. It must be like some huge amount of samples or whatever. But all right. So here's what I'm gonna do. So next week, I'm gonna finish the original the Next Generation. We can look at that queue, and then I'm gonna start with the anime. But I am gonna start looking at the original series stuff as well. And we'll do that. And then somebody said about changing moods quickly. That'll come in a couple of weeks with the original series, because when we do that with the whole, like, you know, those little stings and transitions. We can actually look at how those guys did that. Johnny does it too. Johnny transitions pretty quickly as well. He does it really well in a lot of the prequels. He transitions from mood to mood because of the wipe. He has to get from like one emotion in one dramatic state to another very quickly. Anyways, we'll do that next week. All right. I'm now stalling because I just don't want to go downstairs. It's so bad. But you know what, everybody, real fast, if you're interested in listening to some anime, the one I'm going to listen to next week is going to be Full Metal Alchemist, and I will get My Hero Academia at some point. I gotta go look on Amazon and see if I can get it used, because usually they're like $80. I'm like, oh my god. I was able to find one of Full Metal Alchemist on eBay for like $25. And I was like, all right, that's cool. It was actually the first two for like $25, which is a really good deal. But yeah, check that out, and also check out Final Fantasy 12, which we're gonna do. I'm gonna be transcribing some of that stuff, and the whole goal of it is just to kind of get these sounds in my head, kind of fall back in love with those sounds, almost like give myself permission to do them. You know what I mean? Like there's been so much stuff where I have to do like EDM stuff or like classical stuff that I want to get that vocabulary back in my brain. This Star Trek cue was great. It was like a lot of fun to listen to. I guarantee you that last chord stack from that, and I haven't gotten to it yet, is going to be two chords a tritone apart. It's going to be like it's like an E dominant seventh and a B dominant seventh together. That kind of thing. I will start looking at Twitch as well. Got so much to work on, and I got to work on a splash screen. And I got to do this. This is hard. This is like, but you know. There's no time. What's that phrase? When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. So that's a great little Farkle wisdom. No. So wait, I need to listen to what? VG OST and Gavin Leaper did video on Japanese chord progressions. It's really good. Yeah, man, I would love a deep dive into anime music. He does a lot. There's a lot of cool stuff in anime music. Darren, I did the ThinkSpace lecture. Yes, I did. It went great. And today I just kind of continue to work on the transcription. But the ThinkSpace lecture will go back into the curated archive next week. I'm going to finish this queue and then push it up so you guys can all get it. So don't worry. You'll be able to get it next week. And you'll get everything. You can see it all. Don't you worry. Yeah, Lorenzo, let's do a deep dive into anime music. That'll be fun. And you can help me kind of pick some good stuff. We'll start with stuff from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, or Full Metal Alchemist, because that's all good stuff. And you can always go Yoko Kanno. I actually transcribed the opening of Macross Plus, which is really good. It's like, hey, listen, let's watch Yoko channel Aaron Copland like a boss. Attack on Titan. Okay, cool. So that's 3 stuff that we could work with. And of course, I mean Cowboy Bebop, but that's insane. That's like that opening. What is it? Junk, whatever it is, tank. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 1, 2, whatever the main theme is. I can't think of it right now because now I've had bourbons in me. But it's so good. Tank, yeah. I kept on saying the tank thing or whatever. Yeah, it just grabs you by the nuts. Yeah, it's so good. Tank she was so 3, 2, 1, let's jam. And it's that little, like, those stings. Oh my god, she's so good. She's a legit piano player too. You watch her live and she's playing legit. Like, she's amazing. I love when people do the whole if anyone ever says like something like, oh, women composers, I don't know if there is. There's a lot of talk about women composers get a glass ceiling, and then it usually is like, well, there's not that many good women composers. Somebody will always say that, and I'm always like, all right, now we're going to look at Yoko Kanno, we're going to look at Shirley Walker, we're going to look at Rachel Portman. You're right. It's like, you know, and then classical, we're going to look at like the girl who did Blue Cathedral and Jennifer Higdon. And I was like, dude, there are kick-ass women composers at the top level of the game. Don't even play that thing, right? They're amazing. You know, I don't buy it that. I might buy into the bullshit that the bullshit that many women composers may be suffering from this put down. I don't know. I'm so far out of that industry. I don't know. I'm just trying to find enough work for myself. But in terms of like people like, oh yeah, there's no really great women composers. I'm like, that's if anybody ever said that, I'd be like, that's bullshit. There's amazing women composers that smoke me that I just like would want to study at the feet of for like 10 years. The jazz big band did Tank. Are you serious? The sax solo is great. Yeah, it's just so blazing. It's so good. All right, I think we're getting to anime mode here. I'm really I'm getting excited about this. All right, so let me write this down. So real fast, what are the things I got to do? I got to look at Gavin Leaper, and the OSTs we're looking at is Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia. These are just starting points, and Full Metal Alchemist. And there was that one other one. Was it VGOST? What was the one, guys and girls, earlier? Was it VGOST that somebody was saying I got to look at? I'm going to look at that too. Gavin Leaper. That's cool. All right, we'll do that. Sounds good to me. Oh, and I got to wrap up in a sec because I'm actually meeting my best friend and his wife in Zoom in 15 minutes. Yeah, Lorenzo, that'd be great. Thanks. Now, to be fair, the first couple that I'm gonna VGO score. Thank you. VGO score. To be fair, there's a cue that I'm gonna start with, which is called Mist from Full Metal Alchemist. And the reason why is I need to figure out what they're doing string wise because I want to lift those ideas for a catacombs level in the game that I'm working on, which is, so I'm probably going to start with that one, but let's not say, look, man, I got tons of stuff and I'm going to be transcribing every day. So hopefully I'm going to be showing up with them. Like you haven't seen it, but like during this week, last week I did this battle cue, but I transcribed 30 bars of another cue as well. Liam, what's up, man? Oh my God, Liam, we're just winding down. I'm so sorry. I got to finish correcting. I don't know if you can see it, but I got to finish correcting your assignment, Liam. I told everyone how awful you did it. Here it is all over here. All my notes and everything. No, I actually got to wrap up. I'm so sorry, but I've got a 5 o'clock Skype with a dear friend of mine and his wife who is yeah, man. Oh, Liam, you're gonna be great. So it is what it is. She just got diagnosed with a breast cancer, and it's very treatable and it's very curable. But yeah, exactly. Catch replay in 20 minutes. But she's doing great. But they're buckling down for 6 to 8 months of like rough times. You know what I mean? Like they do the chemo and they got to do the surgery, and so they just found out last week, and they're gonna they're starting the process next week of like dealing with all of that stuff. So we're praying for her. She's gonna be fine. She's super tough and she's super strong, and she's yeah. I'll tell her the composer gang is like all like pulling for her. She's a force of nature. She's a professional singer. She's a professional opera singer, although she retired when she had kids and stuff. But yeah, she's doing great though. So anyways, but this was really needed, everybody. I can't tell you how excited I was to have you all here. Thank you so much for coming. And just you know what, Lorenzo, it does suck, but I'm very much a glass half full kind of guy, and so is she. And she's like, because the doctor, like, apparently there's 5 stages of breast cancer, and this is like stage 1 or stage 2, and the doctors are like, this is a much better place to be. Like if you were stage 4, stage 5, we'd start being real worried. Basically, the doctor said to her, don't worry unless we tell you to worry. Just do what we say. Take the chemo, do the radiation, get the surgery, and she has like a 94% survival rate. It's crazy. So the doctors basically are like, get your, her diet kind of sucks. So they're kind of like, get your diet under control. And they're like, don't worry unless we tell you to worry. And I like when doctors say that, like, not because it sounds like they're being dismissive. It's like, statistically, we are not worried about this. We are going to do what it takes to get you better. That's really great. Yeah, and we get people pulling for us. So, but I got to tell you, I am loving this Friday afternoon thing. This is really, really fun. And thanks, Mike. And I hope you guys and girls can come back because it's fun. We'll do anime next week. Lorenzo, you've got me thinking about this. And then Mike and some other guys, we were talking about Star Trek, the original series. We're going to do that too. but that might be in a couple of like weeks or like a month or something like that. I'm just going to keep on. I'll be transcribing away from the computer, so we have stuff to do. So I can just like I might even show up next week and be like, hey, I'm just going to play 2 cues that I transcribe. We'll just listen to them for 5 minutes and move on, so you guys can have some fun, and girls. But you know, I'm really excited to dive into some anime stuff. If anybody has any recommendations, no, I haven't heard anything from the Picard group. I reached out to the Picard. Yeah. Well, a couple things. Any joy in the Picard front? Nothing yet. I'm gonna reach out to that person again. I got in touch with their orchestrator and we're playing. Well, I haven't heard back. Spider-Verse is insane. I could do that. And then somebody recommended Narnia. I should do Narnia to hook you guys and girls up. Lorenzo, thank you for coming and spending time with me. It's awesome. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. And Mike, you're in my new Friday timetable. Thanks. Well, you know, it's actually a nice way to end the day. It's like I start at 3. It's like noon over in LA, and it's like 8 o'clock in London. Maybe I'll start at 2 next week and kind of give a little more time. But it's a fun way to spend a Friday afternoon. And this makes me get some good transcribing in every day. I think I got like 12 bars in, which is pretty good. All right, everybody, go enjoy yourself. Be safe. Take heart. 2021's a great year. And woo! And there's a vaccine coming, and we've got a new president, and you know, I'm very optimistic. And we're transcribing Star Trek, and we're going to do anime next week. I'm excited. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you for giving your time and spending it with me. I really enjoyed this. I look forward to doing this again next week. And I will see you all next week then. Take care, everybody. God bless. Woo!